Hello, welcome to Biology B, Unit 4, Lesson 15, Plant Defenses. Today we're going to look at one more topic about how things respond to the environment. We've been looking at the immune system and how the body responds to pathogens. We're going to be looking at now how plants respond to their environment, especially when it comes to herbivores. Before we do that, let's do this warm up. What disease starts first by killing off the helper T cells? Is it AIDS or HIV? I hope you picked HIV. HIV is the human I have such a problem with that word, deficiency virus, and it goes in and attacks the helper T cells. So I'm kind of really bummed that this is a flipped class. I was really looking forward to this. However, I enjoy doing the testing and meeting the students too. It's just that I wish this landed on a different day. But we'll be looking at these I can statements, some internal plant defenses, and some external plant defenses. And we'll be looking at some examples going through Study Guide 14. So plants have two types of defenses. By the end of today, we will have covered some of the study guide question for 14, and we will be getting ready for our test. We've also been learning a lot about a note-taking skill and practicing ideas, so that's like really awesome. We're getting these ideas down. So tell me, we have structural adaptations and chemical adaptations. What type of physical defenses do you think you can find on a plant? Go ahead, write them down. Put it on pause for a second. All right, so I want to share you some examples of pictures I've taken of plants that are from the Myers Gardens in Grand Rapids. One of them doesn't have a defense system that I'm going to show you, and one of them has a defense system that is not physical. So can you figure out which it is? So take those notes and push pause when you need to. Okay. Here's another picture. Another. Here's another picture. And there's the last one. What do you think? Did you list that this was the slender pitcher plant? It doesn't have a defense, but it does use rainwater to catch insects, and that's kind of a fun thing. This one's a little bit interesting too. These are called moonstones because they look like stones. They're trying to blend in or camouflage with the environment. And I had to blow them up pretty big so that you could see them right in there. They look like stones. Kind of cool. Anyhow, so there's some physical adaptations that plants can have to help defend themselves against getting eaten. We have some spines, which are modified leaves. We find these in a lot of cactus. Prickles, you might have been attacked by prickles before. These are also modified leaves. Or thorns. thorns can be found on branches of trees and plants, the acacia tree and the rose bush here. Another physical defense is called mimicking behaviors. That would be something like the moonstone. It looks like a rock, so that is a physical defense. So we have in our pictures only one that we haven't seen up here, so we now know which one's not a physical defense. But you can see other types of mimicking behaviors, like copying the behaviors of a plant that is a poisonous plant. The other idea is you can see on this, there's some yellow spots that look like butterfly eggs. This prevents other butterflies from laying eggs on their leaves. And then they won't eat the leaves, so they try to mimic some behaviors. So those are some plant defenses. Like, so we've talked about thorns, spines, prickles, hairs, and then the mimicking behavior. That's a structural response. Let's look at the chemical adaptions. And one of those plants that I showed you had a chemical adaptation in there. So what type of chemical defenses do you think you can find on a plant? Go ahead and pause the video for a second as you think about this. I'm going to show you this guy here. Now, this plant has a sap that if eaten causes burning or swelling in the mouth. That would be one type of chemical defense. Can you think of any others? Here are a couple more. They can be fatal, they can be painful, and they can communicate. And you can look and search some of these, especially painful and fatal. You can Google those and find some information on there. But you also might know some of them, like poison ivy. Poison ivy and poison oak. Then you have plants that if you eat them, you will die. Nightshade is one of them. You might have heard that word in a movie. Nightshade or nightlock. So nightshade is a version. There's other ones like the oleander tree and the foxglove. There's others. They also have the ability for chemical adaptations by communication. This is a pretty cool one. So the archaea tree is in Africa, and it can send out these chemical signals to alert plants of an insect attack. So they're going to tell the surrounding plants about it. So that's really, really cool on how it does that. That acacia tree. And so when it is attacked by insects, it releases a gas called ethylene. We've talked about that. And other trees will sense it. All right, so we have now very quickly run through several structural adaptations and several chemical adaptations. They have toxic compounds or chemical communications. So with that, let's take your notes, make sure you have them in there. One physical and one chemical adaptation you can think of and that you found was interesting, and then tell me a little bit more about it. Put this on pause, restart it when you're ready. All right, so you're going to need this information. I promise you, your study notes say 2. You're going to need to have 2. In fact, I'll even tell you now, there's an essay question about this. So you have the heads up of knowing that there are structural adaptations such as spines, thorns, prickles, and hairs that can irritate and cut herbivores or us. There are chemical adaptations that will start immune responses, like creating rashes that will have a bad taste. They could be fatal or poisonous. You can get painful symptoms from them. They can also send out chemical communication systems with other animals to think that there is a predator nearby. So we have now gone through that study guide question 14. We have covered our I can statements about defense mechanisms. Please know that there's information in your reading that you can use to help you if you have any questions. We have a quiz that needs to be taken today, quiz 15. Check all of your Unit 4 assignments. Are they done? How's your grade? We'll be taking the test soon, so make sure you have all those exit tickets and quizzes done. Continue to work on the review sheet. That will be due on Wednesday, and we will take the quiz, the Unit 4 test. It is called a quiz, but it is a unit test on April 27th. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will try to get back with you as soon as I can by email. And today's code word for attendance is on the board. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.